You already know this, but I don't know this like exactly. It's gonna be a long one, and I'm sorry. Like I have just so much to talk about. I have so much things that I have to be like, you need to know about this type things. So I truly am gonna just try to run through all of it. I didn't even know that this had stopped, but it did. Like I didn't even know that the new map pack dropped, but it did. So sorry. I do have to make that video. I have to make the first attempt on the latest map. I'm sorry I haven't done that. I have a lot of stuff I have to do. But I've been gone for a week, so let me tell you all about that week and what's going on. I do have notes on my phone because I'm gonna be honest. I had an unlimited drink package, and I used it. Just a couple of numbers for you. I had 17 drinks Saturday, 15 drinks Sunday, 10 drinks Monday, no drinks Tuesday or Wednesday, 12 drinks Thursday, 20 drinks Friday, and no drinks Saturday because I had to be places. So I've had a bit of a drinking thing where my liver is now dead. It's just dead. It's just dead to the world currently, and it needs its own vacation from this because oh my god, it was brutal for my liver. So there were a couple of things I wanted to do on the vacation. First off, I wanted to be very real with my cousins. Because this was a family cruise. It was the time where, for the first time ever, the three heads, the three families, were kind of coming together in this beautiful collage, and just in a way that's never been done before with our family. And I say that because I'm not going to reveal their names, but just the fact that the three divergents kind of came together was amazing. I learned so much more about my family and so much more about where everyone is and where everyone's been, and just how everyone kind of functions this last week than I think I've had in the past 20, I'll call it 22 years of my life at this point, which is just amazing. And I don't regret any of it. And my second mission was to get a cruise romance. I wanted a cruise romance, but I also had a third mission. I wanted a cruise romance so bad. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, it's been too long since anything has happened, which may or may not be too much info for you guys, and I understand that. And I'm sorry about that, truly. But I kind of went in with that mindset of I need a cruise romance. I want a cruise romance. I don't know how it's gonna work because I'm sharing a room with my sister, and she's very, very close by in this kind of field. But there's that, and I want to see stars. Where I live, the stars aren't that great. My Wi-Fi is terrible. The stars aren't that great, and I wanted to go see stars. And I wanted to have one night, at the very least, where it was just open and everything was amazing. That's what I wanted. I wanted at least one night for that. And I'm going to kind of go through everything through that. But while I was gone, two things, a new song by NF came out. Now, I absolutely love NF. I've been talking about him since his second album dropped. And because I found out about him on his first album, and Why by NF dropped, which is an amazing song. I downloaded it and I listened to it probably on repeat for a truly disgusting amount of time. Mainly because I didn't have Wi-Fi out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, so I didn't have anything else to listen to. But truly just a truly disgusting amount of time was spent listening to NF, and it was great, and I loved it. Truly. So there was that. There was... So the first night we were there was basically a day out on sea. We spent very little time Anyway, we kind of all met up. We immediately hit the mojito bar. The mojito bar was amazing. I had about 4 mojitos just sitting on the bar in 2 hours, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be a great cruise. And through that day, we kind of saw where everyone was, how everyone was drinking, how everyone was working and flowing, whatever. It was like, okay, this looks like it's gonna be a good time. I've been stressed out. I drove me and my sister to the airport, and then we got into New York, and then we took an Uber, which was my first Uber, by the way. Took my first Uber, and that did not go how I would expected it to go. I kind of had this like nightmare fuel version of Uber where it's like, oh, I'm gonna get picked up by a mad person, and they're just gonna be rambling about their dog's sister's bellyache or something like that. I don't fucking know. I was like, I'm worried about this whole Uber thing and how that's gonna go, because first off, I don't want to like do a Uber like faux pas because I don't know any better, because I don't Uber, because I basically live in a small country town, which isn't really country, but it's like, it's not big enough to have an Uber yet. Like, it's just big enough to know what Uber is and like to have the general concept of Uber, but not to actually know what Uber is, if that makes sense. And like how to use an Uber. Like, you kind of use an Uber if like you're desperate and it costs an arm and a leg, because it has to come from like 2 towns over. That's like kind of my town. It's not quite where everybody knows your name, but like everyone knows someone who knows your name type of a thing. That doesn't make sense. Moving on. So I was worried about the whole Uber. The Uber thing went well. We actually did do an Uber faux pas, because I didn't know. I was expecting him to be like a little bit off. So I was like, okay, we just landed. We have to get our bags still. I'll order the Uber now and tell him, hey. So like that way, by the time I get my bags, I get my sister and I's bag and everything, it'll time out perfectly so that we're just like, get out and go. Turns out he was already there. And he was like, you can't call an Uber that early, because I'm not allowed to be parking here because this is an airport and I can get in major trouble for this. I can get my car towed and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, sorry, dude. Like, kind of feels like it's more your fault than mine. I mean, how did you not see the location being way inside of a thing? Yeah, like, way inside the airport. I kind of feel like that's your fuck up, even though I told you to meet somewhere else. But anyway, again, that might just be me not knowing how to use an Uber. Moving on. Rambling. So there was that, and then we met up. We had mojitos. We had a great time, and we had reservations at the fanciest eating establishments on the cruise ship every single night, and we chose 8 o'clock. We're like, okay, at 8 o'clock, we're going to sit. We're going to get all kind of dressed up. We're going to dress up nice, and we're going to go to the fanciest eating establishments on the boat. Which, don't get me wrong, great idea. Lovely. Not every single night, though. And it became one of those things where, like, I really enjoyed going, and the food was great, and you were able to basically have whatever the hell you wanted. He didn't tell him off because I haven't played a game in a week. I'm like, how do I shoot things? It was like, we kind of hung out and we were like, okay, cool, everything's fine. But going there every night was like, okay. But like the 4th night, the novelty kind of wore off, and I was like, I'd rather be at a show. I'd rather be like playing on deck bingo or deal or no deal or something. Like, yeah, I get it. We're gonna eat here. We're gonna show up. We're gonna be dressed nice. It's gonna be a great time to kind of like reflect on the day we had and kind of like all get drunk at fancy restaurant and shoot shit. I get it. But by the 4th day, the novelty kind of wore off. I'm like, okay, let's just go. Let's go do this thing and we'll be fine. Dinner took 2 hours because we were a group of 16, and apparently that number was like calling in an army of people for the cruise. Like, they had never heard of a party of 16 on a cruise before, because one of the things that kind of went down was like, oh, we actually can't serve a group that big. We have to break you up into two tables of 8. And the first night we were like, okay, your rules, whatever. We're not going to like mess with your rules and whatever. The second night we were like, why the hell are we eating? Like, why are we eating as 2 separate groups? Shouldn't be that hard to put 2 waiters together at a table of 16 and just make it work. And that's what ended up happening. We were like, hey, just give us 2 waiters. Give us the same 2 waiters every single night, so they're not having a panic attack every time we show up at 8 o'clock. And stay until ass late. And then everything will be fine. Like, it'll be fine. Just say 2 waiters, 8 o'clock, our place. Yeah, it's good. That was way too much for them. It took them until the 5th night to kind of figure out, oh, we could have one really good waiter. Just kind of hang out and do that. And then we'll be fine. That took them a bit longer than I think they'd like to admit. Apparently the Norwegian gem has some issues figuring that shit out. I probably gave you guys way too much information. You probably know, like, someone out there's gonna be like, I know who they were, type thing, which is fine. Please don't stalk my family. No, but like, that was a weird thing that took place, and it was like way too long for them to like figure out 2 + 2 = 3 type of scenario. So that was a thing. And then the next day, which was Sunday, we got on the cruise Saturday. Thanks, dude. We got on the cruise Saturday, and then all day Sunday we were at sea. I'm like, okay, I have one mission only: explore the bar, explore the bars, explore the boat, explore everything I can explore. Rewind real quick. The first night, I was like, alright, I want to meet people tonight, so by the end of the night, I can have my cruise romance. That's what I'm going for. And I met these 2 beautiful girls. Absolutely beautiful girls. And it was almost unfair that they were, like, there together. Because I was like, oh, man, like, this way I can't even be like, oh, I struck out with this one, I can go try this one over here, like an asshole, because I'm on a cruise ship and I can do that when you're on a cruise ship. They were hanging out together, and they were together, and like they came on the same room and things. So it was like, I gotta pick one, and I did pick one, which I realized that this entire segment of the cruise is going to make me sound like the biggest asshole on the planet. That's fine. I was cruise Raven. I wasn't like normal Raven. I was cruise Raven. I acknowledge this. It's like, okay, you know what? So I'm hanging out with Elle. I'm gonna call her because her name started with an L, and because I'm super original like that. And I'm hanging out with Elle, and she's real great. And her friend EM, I'm gonna call her EM because that's original. So Elle and M are kind of hanging out, and I'm like, all right, Elle is awesome, truly awesome, and I'm getting her drinks. I have the ultimate drink package. So it don't mean nothing to me. It don't mean absolutely anything to me at all. So I'm getting her drinks, and I'm having a good time. And there's this guy. Now I have to give his name away because he's going to become an ongoing character and a problem. His name, I'm gonna call him Dallas. Alright, so there's 3 people so far. There's Dallas, there's M, there's L. Then there's these 3 people who I've met the first night. And Dallas is drunk off his ass. Like, I've never met this dude before. And he walks up to me and goes, bro, I'm so fucked up. What's even happening? Like, who are you people? Why am I here? What's happening right now? And I'm like, okay, look. And I'm maybe still trying to be like the caring person that I am. I'm like, all right, he's gonna have the worst hangover in the world. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get Dallas 2 waters. I'm gonna get him the first one. I'm gonna get him a water. I'm gonna slide that over to him and say, great. I look in his hand, and by the time I've left him to the time that I came back, his arm is now slung all over L. He has a gin and tonic in his hand. He's kind of like holding it at like an angle where no liquid should be in the cup still, but there's still liquid in the cup. And he's drinking the gin and tonic. And he's like, "This is perfect." And he's talking, and he's still going. He's like, "You're still saying the same basic thing." The only thing he said that entire night was, "I'm so fucked up. What's happening?" Only thing he said the entire night. I'm like, "Look, Dallas, let me help you out." I switch out his drinks. To water. I take the lime, throw it in his, make it real classy. I give it to him. He's all drinking, and he looks at me and goes, "You fucker. This is water." And I would love to say that that's just me trying to do a really bad Sean Connery accent, like if you guys heard in the past. No, that's how he was talking. He was slowing his words that bad. And I'm like, "No, it's not. You're just fucked up. And you're just fucked up." See? I took a swing of mine, which at this point was his, and I just swapped them out like a pro. And I drank his thing. And I'm like, "See? It's just water. It's just the gin and tonic. There's nothing different with it. I ordered you another one, like a bud. And we're good. Like, we're good here. We're drinking together. We're having a good time. We are having a good time." And he's like, "No, you switched out my drinks. I'm not gonna do the whole thing anymore because it's hurting my face. It's hurting my soul to talk like this currently. And he's like, "All right, look, I didn't switch your drinks. Look, we're drinking the same thing." And I switched the drinks again. And he takes a sip of mine and he goes, "That's what I'm drinking?" I'm like, "That's what you're drinking. Mine is just a little stronger because I like stronger drinks. And I'm not as drunk as you. So I'm taking a stronger drink." And he's like, "But it's the same thing." I'm like, "Yeah, it is." So I had put his drink down. So I picked up his drink again. And I mixed the two. Which was probably the smartest thing I did. Because I poured some of his gin and tonic into the water. So it's really just watered down gin at this point. I'm like, "Look, see? Exact same drink, just watered down. You're just struggling, bud." And he's like, "I guess I am." And then that was it. The next day, I go back to the nightclub where I met these guys, and I've met 2 new people. One is named Katz, and one is named Ryan. So now there's 5 new people I've met, all at a club, all at the point where I'm uncomfortable with the fact that I'm at a club, let alone the fact that I'm at a club 2 nights in a row, let alone the fact that I am now surrounded by people I don't know. Nor do I want to know. If I'm absolutely honest, I don't want to know any of these people. I don't care to know any of these people. And that's fine. So I'm hanging out with L and M again. And Dallas comes back. And Dallas this time is 100% sober. And I'm not saying I wanted a thank you, but I wanted a thank you. And he's like, "Oh, hey, what's up? Not a problem." And I learned that he's a military dude. He's a jawhead. I'm like, "Cool, no big deal." We start talking. He's having a great time. And we're all good. Ryan and Kat start talking to me. And they're like, "All right, we are going to get you a really sweet guy. We heard what happened yesterday. We're going to get you laid." And I'm like, "Awesome. That's what I need to hear. I need to hear that someone's on my side because I'm awful at this sort of thing." And I don't mean maybe. I mean, I'm truly awful at starting relationships. And I'm really good at, like, maintaining them, if that makes sense. I'm good at that. So I'm like, okay, cool. I have a couple of people on my side that are trying to maintain relationships. Awesome. So they see who I'm going after. They see that I'm going after L because I'm, once again, not good at starting relationships. And at this point, I start talking to M, trying to like get to know her, because I'm like, hey, I might as well try to like get to know her friend to see what she's into. So I'm talking to her. Things are going great. Third day, we make our first ports. And our first port was in Halifax. Now, I think I have some notes on this because I'm not entirely... At this point, I'm many drunks in, and I'm not good. Yeah. So, between the first, like, 3 days, I come to learn that from Ryan and Kat that Dallas has a brother. And not only does Dallas have a brother, he's also a jawhead. Now there's two jawheads, and they are apparently far more fascinating than me when it comes to L&M. And I'm like, oh, okay then. That's disappointing. Because now that's the follow-up. Another person I've, like, lost potential suitorship. What the fuck? That's the thing? That's what I'm saying now. Suitorship to military dudes. I'm like, it's happened again. I made that joke to my cousin. And he was like, I think the issue is you need to go into the military. I think that'll solve all your problems right up. Because you tend to go after girls who like military dudes. And you're not in the military. I'm like, thank you for that amazing roundup of all that. Thank you, truly. But it was just fun. It was just funny to kind of like see that whole thing go down. But then I also had a second realization that for them, I'd gone from just some guy that they've met to being the creepy guy at the bar. Like, I went from, I'm just kind of just here with my family and I'm meeting new people and I'm having a good time, to I'm now buying I'm buying L drinks. Skip, why would you ask me that? I'm now buying L drinks, and it's becoming very apparent that I dig her and that I'm really interested in her, and I'm just trying to get her drunk so that she hopefully would like me more, which was not what I was trying to do. I was kind of just trying to be like, look, I can get drinks for all of you at this point. Why wouldn't I? And I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of hoping that she's like, ooh, he's buying me a bunch of drinks. Maybe he's worth my time. Not what happened, but I was hoping that'd be a nice side effect of it all. It wasn't. But I'd become the creepy guy at the bar. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm just gonna go listen to music, and I'm gonna just kind of live my best life at that point, which is cool. Next day, we are in St. John. St. John, Canada. At least where we ported, there's not much to do in St. John, Canada. We ended up hopping on a bus and driving 2 hours away from where we ported to a little place called Peggy's Cove. And Peggy's Cove is this amazing little seaside village, fishing village, and everything's really cute, and it's all really nice, and it's all really adorable. And I was just struck by how Life is Strange, like everything felt. It felt like a very Life is Strange thing. It felt like there was these like areas I'd look in town, I'm like, oh, I could totally see that being redone in the Life is Strange art style. And I was like, that's really cute, that's really awesome, and whatever. I'm like, I really enjoy that. I'm glad I was able. I played that game again, so I could like kind of make those connections. I can really just appreciate what's being shown to me in this moment. So I took a bunch of pictures of like landscapes and seascapes, and hoping that, first off, I'm hoping that with all these pictures that I took over 300 of them. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get back into photography and kind of get back into my competitions like I was doing a little while back. I'm not sure how many of you guys remember that. I was like, all right, hopefully with all of this, I'm going to be able to take some really good pictures, and I'm going to be able to compete again, and I'll be able to kind of like, yeah, Ravens back. With it, and I actually got, at Peggy's Cove, not Peggy's Cove. I'm confusing my days again. Was it Peggy's Cove? No, that was in Halifax. Was it in Halifax? No, it was in St. John, Peggy's Cove. No, Peggy's Cove was in St. John. No, Peggy's Cove was in Halifax. St. John was where it felt very life is strangey, and that was when me and my sister walked on the ocean floor, because in St. John there's a little there's a little cove called Fundy's Cove. Sorry, I got everything kind of backwards in that. Called Fundy's Cove, and Fundy's Cove is one of the places that back in 2007 they were trying to pick the new 7 wonders of the world, which makes no sense to me whatsoever. Why you would do that? Why you need another 7 wonders of the world when we already have like 14 of them? There's 7 natural wonders, there's 7 ancient wonders, and like there's a bunch of 7 wonders of the world apparently, which seem like way too many. They all can't all be wonders if they're all, you know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway. But yeah, there was that whole thing kind of going on, which was constantly. Then there was the whole. So we get to this second location, and I took the best picture of a squirrel ever. I felt very life is strangey in that moment. But we were walking on the ocean floor at the same location of St. John. Yes, St. John, not Halifax. St. John. I had to find East Cove, and the tides are so severe that you can walk on the ocean floor when it's low tide and kind of just like, have all these really cool pictures of things and explore around this area. Well, during high tide, it's completely submerged, and actually take a kayak for that same area, and that's one of the big things that they do. Like, you can have like an all-day thing there. Well, you can go out kayaking, you can go and enjoy a high tide, and then 35 minutes later, every time and ride, when low tide comes in, you can go walking on that same floor and be like, oh, this is where I was kayaking, and these are all the pictures from a whole new place type thing. Which is really cool, and it's something that, we did, and that's why I got the picture of the squirrel, which I'm pretty sure it's going to win me competitions and stuff. Then we went to Maine. We did not go to not Portland, Maine. Bal Harbour, Maine. And in Maine, everyone, like the entire family, had one mission in Maine, and that was to eat lobster, which I love lobster. I don't eat it often, obviously, because I'm poor as shit. But I do enjoy good lobster. So it's like, okay, we're gonna go get lobster. It'd be a good time. But we kind of like split up very quickly, the family. And there were 2 groups. There were 2 groups that kind of split off and kind of did their own things. And there was Group A, which was combined mostly of the older family members and people that just wanted to eat lobster. They just wanted to walk around in nature for a little bit, and they want to eat lobster, and that's what they wanted to do, so that's what they did. And then there was the younger generation, was like, there's a mountain on this harbor. We want to climb the mountain. So we climbed the mountain. And the mountain, in our mind, was going to have this nice little trail, and it's going to be all beautiful, and it's going to be this really funny thing that we could do, climbing the mountain. Turns out that the mountain trail is not actually a trail, rather it is a 1.4 mile hike straight up, where there is no trail. There's nothing to insinuate a trail other than some asshole, quote my cousin, just took a blue paintbrush and slapped the ground a couple of times here and there and be like, this is the trail. You're on the trail now. And apparently that's all it was, which is mind-boggling. But like, we're climbing up here, and then we get up the mountain, and we're like, awesome. We made it up the mountain with gods, and then we look at the time and it was like, oh, we have 75 minutes. So I just noticed something that was on my body that was not on my body when I left. We have 75 minutes to get down to the boats. To get back to the boat, and get back to the smaller boats that can get us to the bigger boats. And at this point, I had already missed the first bus out to where we were, out on this Arcadia Park, which is actually what it was called, and I lost my shit. I love the fact that it was called Arcadia. I fell in love with Arcadia, and I was like, oh my god, if the last place had that, like, Life is Strange feel, this place had a Life is Strange name, and it was amazing. Me and my cousin and his friend who came along with us on the cruise, we needed to get coffee. We needed our coffee fix bad, so we got coffee, and we missed the first bus out to Arcadia. So already in my mind, I'm like, I've already missed one thing. We're up in this huge ass mountain. It took us 2 hours to get up here. We have 75 minutes now to get all the way back down to the water. We're not gonna make it. So me, my sister, and 4 cousins are now just hauling ass down this mountain. And at this point, like, we were already wheezing and huffing and puffing. We bought water in boxes. It's called Just Water. I don't know why they sell water in boxes, but they do, and I have a bottle of it. But we're huffing and puffing. We're just flat out dying, trying to, like, getting up this mountain. And now it turns out that the 1.4 miles up that we climbed to get there, it now has to be done in 2.11 miles down in a fraction of the time. So we are panicking. We actually started looking up how close it was from this stop to the next one. It turned out to only be like 150 miles, which was really cool. So like, oh, cool. Need be, we're gonna go get a Greyhound to catch up with the boats, and we'll just meet you guys at the next stop. And you guys can't tell already what the next stop was by that, you don't live in Maine. So we're like, okay, we just gotta run and get there. That's the other thing. Real quick, I still have sea legs. I've been off the boat for a day and a half at this point, and I still have sea legs. It is ridiculous. How bad my sea legs are. I'm actually swaying, sitting in my chair, recording this. Just trying to, like, not fall over when there's nothing there. Which, another quick side note, that is a really fun game to do. I'm getting drunk on a boat, because you don't know if you're swaying because of the waves or if you're swaying because of the alcohol. You just know that you're swaying. That's all you know. So that's fun. But so there's all that was happening. So not only are we all panicking because, like, we have to get to this boat and we're not gonna have enough time, and we're running down the mountain, we're tripping, we're falling. I think I'm 90% sure that I broke my thumb. I at least, like, bruised the bone of my thumb because I tried jumping up over this rock and I missed it by, like, that much. I can show you that. And I clipped it. I put my entire weight down on my thumb, almost destroyed my camera, which, by the way, is a 3400. It's not a Canon. It's the other one, Nikon. Nikon's a really nice camera, and I thought I almost destroyed that. And we ended up making it with 4 minutes to spare. We made it to the last boat, which was absolutely terrifying. But yeah, it was just absolutely insane, all of it. And I'm like, okay, look, the way I see it, we made it back to the boat. Everyone's safe. I mean, all of us had fallen down at least twice. All of us except for my one cousin. Why did I just call him my uncle? Probably because he's very He has a very uncle feel to him. He doesn't really have the cousin feel. He has a very uncle feel to him. Not saying that he's old. He's just like, he has a dominating personality that you kind of associate with uncles. He didn't fall at all, and he was like, "Haha, losers," and I'm like, "Oh, thanks, uncle." But yeah, we had scraped knees and shins and everything, and it was awesome. Especially because like on the way up, we were like perfect. Like no one really fell, no one was struggling. But just on the way back, man, we were hustling. We made it with the 6 minutes to spare, like I already said. And we were like, okay, now we can breathe. Because that whole last 75 minutes, we were like hauling. We were just running. We were just trying anything in our power to not mess it up. You know, just don't mess it up. Kind of became the thing. So as we're sitting there on the smaller boats to get back to the cruise ship, because they're called something. I forgot. I'm not going to remember. I didn't write it down. Type thing. I look over to the side and I'm like, alright, that was really, really stressful. I thought we were going to miss our cruise. I thought a lot of other terrible things were going to happen. Glad that they didn't, but I honestly thought that we were fucked for a good moment though. I look out and there were just dolphins swimming next to us. Like, hey, I'm a dolphin. And I'm like, that's amazing. That dolphin, those pair of dolphins is exactly what I needed right now to save myself from losing my mind. Because for a little bit, I had gone full bananas. I had just gone complete full bananas. I'm like, wait, we missed the boat? They left without us. And I now have to explain to both of my relatives how we managed to miss a boat and how we managed to miss lunch and not get lobster. That was another thing that happened. We were supposed to all meet up for lobster. That didn't happen. Like, the decision originally as like a joke was like, hey, do you want lobster or do you want to scale a mountain? And we did not know how literal that was going to become. So, there was that. And then we hit Portland, Maine. Now, I had confused Portland, Maine with Portland, Oregon. Because Portland, and I was like, alright, I absolutely just want to walk around Portland because Portland's supposed to be this insane city and I just want to walk around Portland. It ended up being the most miserable day on the cruise. Now, like, we'd had a couple of rainy days and we had a couple of just like really rough and gross days. I'm not saying that we didn't, but Portland was probably the worst day. So, first I woke up and I'm like, ugh, it's already rainy. The captain's overhead, like, hey, today sucks. Just sorry to tell you that, but today sucks. Oh, real quick, we'll wind back to Arcadia. They had a bunch of on-deck, on-cruise performers. And they're allowed to leave the boat like everyone else. And they just have to be back like an hour earlier than anyone else. And I was kind of sitting by myself after we missed the bus. And I was like, okay, we're here. Okay, we're good. We're going to make it to Arcadia. Everything is going to be fine. Well, a bunch of the performers kind of get on the bus with us. And they sit in the back. And this one performer like just sits on my leg. And she was trying to like scoot over and like kind of like make room for herself or whatever. I'm like, hey, do you have enough space? I'm like, yeah, this is fine. And my cousin like looks back at me and he's laughing his ass off because she's 100% like sitting on my leg and like not really noticing. And I'm not saying like she didn't notice. She was aware that she was sitting on my leg. Like, it wasn't like 100% on my leg. It was like to the side of my leg, but at the point where like half of her ass cheek was on my leg. And she knew, and then like her friend sits down next to her. So now there are 3 people in the seat when it's only supposed to be 2. And I'm not a small guy. I have broad shoulders. I have very Latin hips. You know, I'm a big dude when it comes to seating. It just happens to be that way. Going to the gym 4 times a week isn't gonna change that. I think it's gonna make me like bulk up whiter and shit. So I'm not supposed to be sharing the seat with anyone like this, let alone these two people. And I look over, and we've gone to almost every single show on the boat. I'm gonna talk about that in a second. After I talk about Portland, after I finish talking about Portland, I'm gonna talk about all the shows and stuff and whatever. But I noticed that this one performer I've been crushing hardcore on. Every time I see her, I'm like, oh wow, she's beautiful. And I really did mean that. I really do mean that. And I saw her the first time on the all day on the first day on the cruise. They kind of like paraded all the entertainment crowd out. I was like, this is who's gonna be entertaining you for the next week. Woohoo! I'm like, alright, cool, whatever. And I kind of noticed that from like the top deck. It was like, oh, and she's this Asian girl with blonde hair cut in a pixie cut. And I'm like, oh, she's awesome. And the reason why I noticed that originally is because I'm looking down at all the people like, oh, I'm so sorry this is what you have to do. You know, I'm so sorry that this is your job, essentially. Because there's a whole stigma around cruise ships and those people like, and people who like work on cruise ships and the entertainment business not really having talents and that kind of thing. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry that this is like what you're doing. And there were some people who they are wearing that, and you can see in their face and their movements, and they're just so angry to be on this cruise ship. And then there's this girl who looks like she's having the time of her life. She's smiling, she's singing along the songs, and I'm like, oh, you're awesome. So since like the first day on the cruise ship at this point, I've been like watching out for her in a way. Like I haven't gone out of my way to see her. I wasn't being that creepy. I know I was the creepy guy at the bar for L&M, but I was not the creepy stalker. Didn't go that far. Or the performer, but and that's the other thing. I feel bad that I never like learned her name, so in my mind she'll always be the performer. She'll always be the performer in my mind. But like she's like sitting right next to her. Like she's standing up and she's talking to the two that first made my leg they'll chill. Hey. But also she's kind of just talking. And I noticed her voice. And her voice was really soft and sweet. And she's like, oh, yeah, and we can kind of do this. And she kind of has like that Californian accent. I'm like, okay, that's weird. But it was just really cool. It was really cool to just like see her like so close after spending almost like a week of being like, oh, she's awesome. So in my mind, I'm like, I just have to say something. I just have to say, hey, I know that you're a performer. I know that you're, you know, and I really think that you're amazing. And I think that, you know, the shows are really awesome. And thank you. Like, I didn't have to say all of that, but I just had to say some part of that at the very least. And instead, I chose to say none of that and just to stare like a freak. I looked back at this girl maybe 4 times on a 15-minute bus ride, not being settled at all. And I'm like, and by the time I got off, I'm like, I'm an idiot. All I had to say was one thing to her. It was like, would have been fine. Instead, nope. I chose for creepily staring back at her like you do. So, good on me, I guess. Good on me. So there was that. I got some really good pictures. And then Portland. Back to Portland. Because I know I said I was going to talk about Portland. And I haven't actually talked about Portland. So Portland, I was like, alright, so I didn't get the lobster in Maine. I need to get a lobster in Portland. And the entire time I'm in Portland, I'm confusing it for Portland, Oregon. Where I'm like, alright, Portland is supposed to be this crazy town with a bunch of weird stuff. And I want to go see weird stuff. And I want to go see weird people. And I want to go see Portland. And I was like, okay. I realized about 5 minutes into it that my mistake, you know, I kind of realized 5 minutes into being in Portland, in Maine, that I fucked up terribly. Which, you know, was embarrassing and it sucks because I'm over here running my mouth about Portland the entire time, not knowing what the fuck I'm talking about. So it's rainy, it's cold, it's miserable, and I'm like, I just want lobster, and I just want to, like, not be wet and cold and rainy and miserable. And I'm with 2 out of the 4 cousins that I was with the other night, and I'm effectively the oldest one here. And I'm like, alright, I'm in charge. They're depending on me to be in charge. And like, alright, first things first, I want to get a cup of coffee. Because I was still thinking that it's Oregon. So confusing the 2 Portlands. I'm like, the coffee here is supposed to be the bomb.com. I'm not saying the coffee wasn't the bomb.com. What I am saying is that it wasn't the best coffee in the world. It was good coffee, and I loved every minute of it. I had a 16 ounce of coffee with 2 shots of espresso with it. And I was like, oh, I missed coffee because I hadn't coffee the entire time I was on the cruise. And this is like day 6. I'm getting headaches and I'm losing my mind because I'm so used to having like 20 energy drinks throughout the day because I'm insane. But I'm like, okay, we gotta do something. Like, I'm with my cousins, I'm with family, I have to do something while in Portland. So, kind of just by walking around and like seeing the town, I managed to find an escape room. And the last time we did an escape room, that's when I talked about an escape room on the channel. You guys know I fucking love escape rooms. And I'm like, alright, this is what we're doing. We are doing an escape room. And I'm like, awesome. What's the escape room gonna be? And we're kind of like, we get there and we're like, hey, what are your escape rooms? And she goes, we have 3. And the girl was super cute and was super awesome. Because we were there before they had even opened up. We just happened to kind of like stumble through, and she was there with like a summer camp that was rolling through and doing things, and we was like, oh, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to like do that, my bad. And she goes, no, you're fine, you're from the cruise ship, I'm imagining. I'm like, yeah, and it's, your town kind of sucks at the moment. And she goes, I get that. And she goes, it's a really good day for an escape room. I'm like, yeah, can we do an escape room? And she goes, yeah, sure. What time do you leave? And we're like, oh, we kind of leave then. And she goes, all right, not a problem. If you guys want to come back in 45 minutes when this group's gone, we can come and do an escape room before we open. And I'm like, awesome. So we started walking around the town again. We got like some mugs and stuff. I got mugs, by the way. I'm now collecting mugs from places that I've traveled. It's a new thing I've started. I got one from Halifax, and I got one from the cruise ship itself, which is really cool. So I'm gonna be drinking coffee in different mugs now. Lord have mercy on our soul. We come back. She goes, all right, which one do you want to do? We have 3 escape rooms at the moment. We're expanding to make more escape rooms. So which one do you want to do? We have the saloon, which is really cool. We have a World War II one where you're trying to escape to London. I'm like, that sounds fucking awesome. But I didn't want to be overbearing, you know. I was already like, look, I already chose the fact that we're doing an escape room is 1,000% on me. So you guys, like, you 3, 2 cousins and sister, you guys pick the escape room. Now we'll just do that. And then we also have a King Tut's escape room. So naturally they pick the King Tut escape room, and I'm like, alright, cool, we're doing the King Tut escape room. And it was a lot of fun. Like, last escape room, we were like handcuffs to beds, and we had to like figure out who was robbing places. This one, she throws us in this room, and she goes, okay, there's a curse. You have to find your partners. You have to find the expedition team that you've been in contact, that you've lost contact with. And you have to get out. It's really simple. I'm like, alright, cool. So we started looking through, we started going through it, and they were like separate rooms in this escape room. We ended up going through, so like we unlocked the one thing, and we got into this other room. And that room is like a chemist lab. So we're walking through the chemist lab, and it's like, this is super cool and shit. So we're going through the chemist lab, and it's like, okay, now that you've gone through the chemist lab, you can now unlock this. And this was a actual, or it wasn't actual, but like, you know what I mean. It was a whole nother room that's bathed in red lights, and it's just like a tomb. It's like a pharaoh's tomb, the entire room. And I'm like, this is so much better than the other one we went on. I'm also convinced though that if I went to an escape room with like 2 other people, that I'd first off A, gone through an escape room before, B, didn't get distracted by every little thing. I could easily get out of the escape room in like 20 minutes. I've yet to do that. I've yet to escape an escape room, which, again, according to my uncle cousin, is sad and pathetic. It was unaware that was a thing that you could do. I'm like, you really know how to beat a guy when he's down, don't you? No, but so like we didn't get out. We were like 1 lock away. We had missed it by like 30. We had missed it by like 3 minutes basically, because we were so close to solving the riddle. But like we had to basically do like Punnett squares, or something like that. It wasn't Punnett squares. It was like a queen. Like you had to move 3 matches to make 4 squares, and that would reveal the code. And I'm terrible at that sort of thing. And so we just didn't escape. Which was sad. But then the escape room and then being cold and miserable in Portland, we're like, alright, we didn't get lobsters yesterday, we're getting lobsters now, so we ate lobster. And that was awesome. After like the bitter defeat of being so close to the escape room, we're eating lobster, we're kind of sitting down, and I kind of had to take stock and like see who's around me, because they were like, they're both one was 17, I mean 2 17-year-olds and one 15-year-old, and they're like, yeah, how do you eat lobster? And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I've had 2 lobsters in my entire life. This one was the second one. I'm like, I have no idea how to eat this. I just have to think about what would make sense and then work based off that. And I kind of told them that. I started talking like I knew what I was talking about, hoping that no one in the immediate vicinity would call me out on that. They wouldn't call me out on that, and they didn't. And I was so happy they didn't. I was like, thank God no one knows anything, because I would have been found out immediately. So we ate lobster and we went to the escape room, and that was really fun. It was cold and miserable and draining and shit. And then we go to the dinner, the 8 o'clock dinner, which we had every single night. We get our photos taken as a family, all 16 of us, and it's such an effort to get that photo done. It was insane. It was like, why is this taking so long? It was like, alright, because there's so many of us. But one of the things they had on the menu was a lamb shank, and I'm like, well, I had lobster for lunch, I might as well become a fully rich and entitled asshole and have lamb for dinner. So I did. It was amazing. Like, that's the kind of service in life I want to lead. They can have lobster for lunch and lamb for dinner. Also, no sir, you should be dead. However, that is not the life I lead, and it's perfectly fine. Cause I did have a mojito, and that was fine. That healed all the wounds. Oh, there's also another thing I want to talk about. I'm kind of like hanging out with my cousins. Just real quick before I talk about the last thing, which are the shows, and then I can talk about yesterday, which is Saturday, which is today for me, but not important. There's a hierarchy to drinking. And if you don't know this, let me explain real quick. Functioning alcoholics, people that like can drink and be okay with themselves. We look at the rest of you guys like you're peasants. I didn't realize that there was a thing, and so I'm drinking with my cousins, and like they've had about 9 drinks in 3 hours, in 2 hours at this point, and they're like hard drinks. Like my one cousin, uncle cousin, was just drinking sake. That was the only thing he was drinking that day, and he was having like double sakes for each one of his drinks. So he was very, very much gone, but he's still talking and he's still like keeping up with things. Just getting a little louder, was like the worst thing he was doing. I'm over there pounding fruity girly drinks that you wouldn't believe, and my other cousin, the female drinking cousin, is just living life to her best with her drinks. And like, yeah, I don't understand how you can just drink and just completely lose control of everything. And I was like, yeah. And we started talking about times that we had blacked out when we were new to drinking, and like we're kind of looking at everyone else around us, and we're kind of making fun of them for not being able to control themselves and whatever. And we're kind of just like laughing, and we're making fun of everyone. And then we started telling our stories, and I'm like, I know what my problem is, because I know that I like to go to parties and I like to get fucked up. You know, I am very much that guy, and I recognize that I'm that guy, and I'm okay with being that guy. I'm absolutely fine with being that guy. And here's why I'm fine. Like, I was explaining it to them. I was like, I need to match everyone in the room, because I feel bad when people are drinking by themselves because I have issues. I don't know. And they're like, well, here's what you do. If you want to do that, here's what you do. You pretty much take every other drink and just fill it with water. If it's a beer bottle, you fill it up with water. If it's something along the lines of like a gin and tonic, fill it up with water, throw in a lime, and you're good to go. And those are the kind of things you do when you want to match, but you don't want to be obliterated. Which is awesome, because I'm like, I'm going to use that all the time now. I'm still going to drink as much as I usually drink, but I'm going to be drinking on my pace, not your pace. So there was that. And then the last thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about the shows. Because the shows were fantastic. Like I said, I kind of got a crush on the blonde pixie cut Asian, which is just combination of words that shouldn't happen or don't typically happen. But the first show was Swing. It was a Broadway musical. Or it's off-Broadway musical now at this point. And they were like, yeah, we do swing now. And everything is, there are no real words to the song. It's all swing dancing and everything's coming off scat. If you don't know what scat is, you don't listen to swing music or jazz at any point in your life. Which, I get that. They're both kind of dead forms of music at this point. I'm not saying that they're actually dead, but like, they're on the way out. They're aging music genres. You know? Kind of like ballroom dancing. Like, there's not a lot of new ballroom music that's kind of happening. Kind of just same shit that's been happening for years. Then there was the comedian Rich Onovich, and he was really good. Like, we were laughing hysterically, and all 16 of us were ready to hate him because he's an on-cruise comic. And we're like, all right, this is gonna be terrible, guys. Just be ready. Don't be too excited for zingers, because I don't think they're gonna happen here. No, but he was actually really good, and we really enjoyed him. I actually ended up buying. He had a USB drive, like all of his stuff basically. He was like, yeah, and for $20 you can buy this USB drive, and you can, like, you know, support my childhood dream type thing. And I'll be there at the end of the show, meeting people and shaking hands, taking photographs if you want, and that type of thing. And I'm like, yeah, sure. So I bought his USB drive, and there was so much stuff on it. There were 83 files on this USB drive, and some of them are like prank calls that he made, which is stupid, but I love them. And if I were better at accents, I'd do all of them. To like full on comedy specials and comedy hours to little short films that he's done over the years and just stuff like that. Oh, sorry. Just like it was a good USB. I was surprised that like so much he gave so much for $20 in a way. The other thing I kind of realized is that he repeats a lot of the same jokes. At least he did from the stuff that was on the USB drive, the stuff that he did on the cruise. There were a couple repeating bits, which I'm like, oh, that's kind of sad, but okay, I get it. You know, sometimes you just gotta stick with what you know. And sometimes what you know is what you know, type thing. I wish I would have gone on the quad. So that was really good. Then there was the Blazing Boots show, which I've never gone to a strip club. I've never taken family to a strip club. Going to the Blazing Boots show is kind of what I'd imagine going to a strip club with your family is like. And because it was all country music, but it was all the new age country music, which is basically just like fuck music with a country twang to it. And I was like, don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying this, but I have my very conservative aunt and a 7-year-old sitting next to me. These are not people you want to take to a strip club or to a strip club show. And I'm like, oh, I am very conscious of everything that's happening right now. And I still had a good time. I got my performer crush was there and she was killing it, and I'm like, oh, you're amazing still, and I'm lonely and sad. So that was a really fun thing that happened. Then the last show we saw was, I'm not entirely sure how you say the name, but it's like Quinte Lamonte or something like that. It's like The Fifth Element, is the loose translation, and they were a pair of acrobatic newlyweds, and the stuff that they were doing was mind-blowing. Apparently they've worked their entire lives on cruise ships. They met on cruise ships. They're like, oh, their entire life to the cruise ships, and they will have, and like they were just doing these tricks, and to the point where like they were able to like get their own show because of how much time they spent on cruise ships and how well they were known on the cruise ship community. Apparently they got licensed to like make their own show. Oh, it's twice now. I've killed her twice now in this match. I'm so sorry. But it was absolutely amazing. They kind of did. If I had to like do one thing, I'd be like, hey, they learn how to transition better. Because like they come up with like slideshow things because they're like, we're doing a costume change right now. We don't know how to do this better. Which, you know, I get that in a way. Like, I get that. But just, if you're gonna bring a screen down and do like home videos, play with audience expectations. You know, have the screen, have like a whole like a bit where you just backlit and like it's your shadows playing off the screen or something, and just do something cool like that. You know. But that's why I don't enjoy things. I'm like, how can we do this different and better? When I'm watching shows, it's a problem. And then the last night, we dressed up all fancy. We spent an hour taking photos of everyone, of every subgroup of family there was, and we just had a really good time. And then today, Saturday, yesterday for you guys, I saw that we hit 101 subscribers. Like, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. I think the secret is that I just need to stop making videos. Or I need to do more anime style videos, because I've noticed that Danganronpa is getting way more love than it was when I left. So that's really cool. But just like really thank you. Thank you for getting us to past 100 subscribers. Welcome to this, the flock, the whatever you want to call this, I don't know. I still haven't figured it out yet. So sorry. But yeah, just thank you guys for all of that. And now I'm gonna talk about Saturday because it's the last thing I need to talk about Saturday. And Saturday was fucking insane. So we got off the boats at 8:30. We got back to my house at 6 p.m. Now we walked about a mile to go to Penn Station. We walked through Hell's Kitchen for a mile. Then we got on a train to the airport. First we took a train station to an air rail. Then we took the air rail to the train station. Then we took the train station. Then we took the air rail to the airport. Then we took a plane. Then we landed. Then I drove an hour and a half. So we literally went from planes, train. We went from boats, planes, trains. Boats, trains, planes. And I'm like, I'm good if I never have to take another mode of transportation ever again. I am good, because that's insane. It's way too much. Way too many things just up in the air happening. But we finally got back. I'm absolutely exhausted. But I've missed you guys so much. I'm going to be doing a little extra thing. Just because I missed you guys. And I want to kind of like throw something out in the air. To kind of allude to something I'm going to be doing later this year. Over in September. Kind of want to like throw something out there. Just to be like, hey, we're still going to be doing stuff. Type thing. And I want to just thank you guys for everything. Thank you for still hanging out. Thank you for understanding this week on vacation. Thank you for giving so much love and support even when I'm not making videos constantly. And let's keep going. I'll see you guys at 202. And I'll see you guys at 1001. Let's just keep riding this. Let's keep making videos. Let's keep hanging out. Let's keep this momentum up. And if you're new here, I do want to end on this. At any point you want to private message me like, hey, I want to talk to someone about something real, write me. I know that there are a couple of new people since I've said that last, and I kind of just want to be like, hey, that's why I'm here. I'm not here to make a shit ton of money. I'm here to be like, let's be real. Let's bring YouTube back to what it used to be when it was real people being real about real things. But yeah, I'm done. This video was an hour because I had so much stuff, so many things to talk about. There was so much happened, and in a month when it all happens, when I leave for another vacation, which there'll be more information about that in the upcoming weeks. We'll talk about all that all over again, and it'll be just as insane as it was this time, because this time, next time I'm meeting the Spanish family, and it's going to be absolutely bonkers. So thank you guys for everything. Thank you guys. And I'm done thanking you guys. I'm done being whatever this is, and I will see you guys in my next video. Oh, I'm still recording. My bad.